Are you a fan of David Lynch? For the entire month of October, we're going to be talking about David Lynch movies. Make sure you subscribe so you can see what movies we're talking next. Welcome back to The Boiz, the Paradizo Boiz. We're talking Blue Velvet. Welcome back to Amazon's The Boiz. We're talking Homelander this week. He's an asshole guy, but we're actually talking about Blue Velvet, the David Lynch film. It's we saw it a couple weeks ago. It's I don't know, Brad, you say something.
Blue Velvet is certainly a film that was captured on film by a filmmaker.
Yep, those are all true things. Mm-hmm. It was
no cap.
Yeah, we did all our, just a precursor. We watched this a few weeks ago. We were planning on having a guest for that episode. This is a solo Joseph Brad episode. We haven't done one of these in a while. Mm-hmm. But we were going to have a guest. I guess we can get a bit into this later, but the guest wasn't happy with the film. And I guess that's all we'll really say on it.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were going to spill all that, honestly.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it, but I feel like it gives good context as to why we haven't seen this film.
Yeah, makes sense.
And we decided to just do it with us because no one else would respond.
If you've seen Blue Velvet, you might realize why.
Yeah. Brad, what was your first thoughts of Blue Velvet? Did you like it?
So this was the first I think this was the very first David Lynch film that we started with.
Yeah.
And admittedly, it gave me the ick.
Yeah.
But I was still able to okay, I'll give it a chance,
Yeah.
And there were elements I did enjoy. I was able to take in the sort of artistic style of David Lynch in terms of cinematography, his use of bold colors with his Americana inspiration we've discussed in previous podcasts. Mm-hmm. His interesting use of close-ups.
Yeah.
So there was stuff like that I could clock and appreciate and then have seen in other films since.
Yeah. This was his fourth film. And his second collaboration with Kyle MacLachlan after him starring in Dune. Mm-hmm. Are you a fan of K-Mac?
I guess I am. Yeah. I can't name a lot of things he's been in. The first thing I've ever seen him in and will always associate him with is the live-action Flintstones movie starring John Goodman, Rick Moranis, and all them. Yeah. We had a VHS tape of it growing up, so it's a soft spot for me.
Yeah.
It is not... Viva Rock Vegas does not live up to the hype of the original live-action Flintstones, but that is just my hot take. Also, he's the mayor in Portlandia, which I appreciate.
Right. He's in Sex and the City too, I believe.
To the movie?
No, the television. He's in
as well.
Sex and the City as well.
Yes, gotcha. That makes sense. He's a pretty boy.
Yeah, but his defining role is Agent Cooper in Twin Peaks, which is another David Lynch joint. Mm-hmm. Series, I guess.
I would say joints, plural.
Yeah. But so Dune was his big break. It was his introduction to David, and then Blue Velvet is sort of his next step in their relationship.
Yeah, sort of David Lynch was okay, let me do what I want to do.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Have you ever seen OG Dune?
I have not. No.
I have not either. Okay. I heard it was divisive. So.
Yeah. It's one of those films where, I've seen clips from it and stuff, and it's extremely dated.
It is a product of its age. That is definitely for sure.
And it's sci-fi, but it's a David Lynch twist on it. So it's it's not like Star Wars. It's I don't know. I don't know if that can make sense. I don't know how to say that with words. I've seen clips
and stuff as well, so I know what you're getting at. Did you see the new Dune?
I have not seen that either.
Okay. I watched it in pieces. I think I had to on TikTok there's videos playing, but then you also have to
you have to go part one.
I think I was or no, it was more the top screen is a movie or a TV show, and then the bottom screen is just someone playing a video game.
Oh yeah.
Like a Temple Run ish. Yeah. That's Temple Run is how old I am. So I subconsciously was kind of doing that, I think, during the movie, just so I could keep watching it because it's a long fucking movie.
Yeah.
And it's only the part one. But I got through it.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet. I think he's going to be big.
He's gonna that Timothy Chalamet son of a bitch. He's gonna be a star.
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
Do you see it? This is a quick sidebar. the 1975. You know the band, the 1975.
I love the 1975.
Did you see? They were doing a concert and they had like Subway Surfer and like knife cutting soap like videos playing like on the side of their concert.
I did not know that.
I'll clip it here.
But it was the liberal outrage against our band for remaining consistent with our pro-LGBTQ stage show, which was the most positive.
Was that like their recent concert?
Yeah, it was like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it was. I think they did it as like a joke to be like, attention.
You know what?
Thing.
I think I did hear about that, like a tweet, like headline or something, because I think it was because the singer likes to go on like
Maddie.
Yeah, he likes to do rants.
Yeah,
kind of like Kanye West.
He's a weirdo, but I do find him entertaining. I've never listened to any of their songs.
I love their music. I've listened to them since 2014 or something. I've actually, back when I worked at the radio station, they actually came, and I'll never forget. We had a private a concert event. That's what the radio station used to do. You would call in to win passes to get like a private little concert / meet and greet. So I went to go work this meet and greet. I get off the elevator because it was in like the basement of this building that the company owned. First fucking thing is I smell so much marijuana. Like so much marijuana. Like so much marijuana. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is the vibe. Walking into the little venue and stuff, and we get all the winners come in. They get their venue, get the pictures, whatever. Yeah. And then I got to meet him, got his autograph. Actually, I had I had a poster from the previous time they were touring and came to Michigan. Okay. So I got a signature on that, and I'm pretty stoked about that.
Nice. The boy.
And the drummer as well. I don't recall his name at the moment. I used to know it, but
who cares? He's the only one that matters. You know, apparently this is okay. One more thing.
No one cares about Maroon 4.
Yeah. I saw this online recently. Apparently, the Weasel from the movie Flushed Away was like based on him.
Yeah, the Weasel was based on him.
Because his mom was a producer of that film.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, and so
I didn't realize he had some nepo in him. Okay,
he does have some nepo in him. Yeah, his parents are both like famous producers. Yeah. Not famous, but like they're both successful producers.
Right. It's kind of like Tom Holland. His dad's a comedian.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I figured any like Showtime or show boy because he's like a child actor or whatever. I always assume like they have some connection somewhere.
That's fair nowadays because now that I think about it, I am seeing more and more. To be fair, there's more and more celebrities and more people. Therefore, more and more celebrities are creating more and more people. Like, birth rate and whatnot. So maybe that it could be just a product of that. But yeah, everyone's got connections.
Yeah. You know who else has connections is Laura Dern.
That's true.
She the recorder. If this stops, it's because the recorder died and we had to put more batteries in. But we're gonna keep going until it does die. Laura Dern, I believe her parents are actors.
That sounds right.
And so she's a youngin in this film as well. She plays a 16-year-old, and Kyle MacLachlan is 20 years old in this film, which it was what, the 70s, 80s?
I think it was like early 80s. He's not to jump right into it. He's a police officer or something, right? Or he wants to be. He
wants to be. He's in college. He's
okay.
I guess we can get into the story.
I didn't clock how young he was, is why I asked. Yeah. I figured he was early-ish 20s. I just didn't think he was 2-0.
Yeah. His father has a stroke in his backyard.
Sad.
K-Mac comes home. Jeffrey Beaumont, he comes home to just take care of his dad. And while on his way home from the hospital, he finds a decapitated ear, a cut ear in the grass. And he's
not an ear of corn.
No, a human ear. A gross, infected, deceased human. Not deceased.
It's discolored for sure.
Discolored. He finds an ear. We get a super close up of the ear, and we see like ants in it and stuff. It's it's one of those signature shots you were talking about. And so he takes it to the chief of police, and he's like, "Hey, like I found this ear in this grass. What's
like you do?"
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I'll take care of it. Just don't worry about it." But this Jeffrey, he's a little nosy boy. He's a little scoundrel. And this Laura Dern, she tells him like, "Hey, my dad was investigating this lounge singer. You should look in to see what she's been up to." And so that's where the Wizard of Oz. We've been talking about the Wizard of Oz. That's where like this sort of element comes in of he's going out of his world into this sort of darker world to trying to solve a murder.
Yeah, he's in this dark world. He truly is no longer in Kansas.
Yeah.
And yet the world he's in now is kind of more black and white than the beginning and end of the film.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's
maybe not literally, just kind of like in terms of tone. And darkness. That's
something a lot of people point out, the juxtaposition. Like the opening scene is like a fireman like waving to the camera, and that's like a famous scene because it's like setting you up for, hey, there's like, look, we're in this nice suburb and there's a fireman and it's colorful, and then we go to the city and it's just fucking darkness and dark colors and like rainy and like sad, and so it's
a bit too real for my taste.
Yeah, very real. Yeah, that's like this film when it came out, and I guess to this day, it's very divisive because of like just how kind of brutal the nature of the film is. It's I don't know how to say this. It's done well in the sense that like it's a very well made film despite the kind of the nature of it, the topics.
Well made, but not quite tasteful. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
this is something we've talked about is like you can enjoy films that have like a darker subject matter to them.
Oh, absolutely. Giant murderous dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's the plot of another Laura Dern joint.
Yeah, that's true.
And if we can look past the absolute horrors and insanity of that, then cool.
Yeah.
It's not quite as realistic as some of the shit in this movie.
Yeah.
But
I rewatched
same vibes.
The House That Jack Built recently. Have you heard of that film?
I've heard of it. Who's in that again?
It's what's his name? Matt something. Matt Dillon. Close. They're like on the same level. Essentially. Yeah. Matt Dillon, he plays like a serial killer, and it's like, and he's like in hell, and he's like recounting like all his different serial kills. And it's a very brutal film. It was like, it came out a few years ago. It was like people like walked out during
like
Cannes.
Christmas Carol-y.
A little bit. It's I don't know. I didn't want to spoil it in case you do want to watch it, but
I don't care.
Oh, okay. Well, at the end of the this isn't really a spoiler, but by the end of the film, he takes all the bodies that he's like murdered over the years, and he builds like a house out of that. That's where The House That Jack Built comes from. Okay. The title, and so it's a very brutal, especially like there's a scene where he like kills like this mom and her sons, and it's a very gross scene.
Yeah, no bueno.
Yeah, it's very harsh, but that's cinema, that's art.
That's the thing. Oh yeah, that's quite the thing to achieve when you're going for. That's the kind of house he wants to build.
Yeah. But this Blue Velvet film, based on a song. This is the first movie that we were talking about that's based on a song, I think. Do you like that song? It plays a lot throughout the film.
I was going to say, I don't know if I like it more or less since I've heard so many versions of it. It's hard to pick, but it's fine.
Yeah. We talked about this before, but have you heard the Lana Del Rey version?
I don't think I have.
It was I don't listen to her that much. I listen to her some of her songs, but it was on whatever her like popular album is.
I can see the artwork.
Yeah, and my sisters are big Lana fans, and they were playing it, and I was like, "Is this Blue Velvet?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Lana Del Rey wrote this song." I was like, "No, she didn't. This song came out in the '50s."
Alien Ant Farm wrote "Smooth Criminal."
Yeah. I was like, "This is a very old song," and Lana Del Rey is actually like, her and David Lynch are like fans of each other.
I believe it. They are the same fucking vibe.
Yeah, exactly the same. I've told you before, he does like weather like videos on YouTube. Yeah. And he did one, or just at the beginning of it, he's like,
"Today, I was thinking about Lana Del Rey."
All right.
If he ever does make a movie again, I'd like to see Lana have a role in it.
I could see it. I could definitely see it, because it seems like something especially at this point, if they have an established relationship, why wouldn't she want to get in on that?
Yeah. I actually don't know if they've ever met, but I do know that they are fans of each other. So, but I mean, everyone's a fan of something.
That's true.
Okay, so he goes to see this lounge singer. I don't remember her name, but the actress is Isabella Rosalini. She was married to Scorsese, and then she was dating David during the making of this film, and for a few years after. Yeah, she's a big director gal. She's fine. I actually no. She's really towards the end, especially. She's really giving it her all, and it's very she does a great job, acting wise, look wise. I don't want to say she's ugly, but she has a very distinct, very interesting features.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, she's kind of. Yeah, I don't know. She's fine.
Interesting looking.
Yeah, it is weird to think about the director and his girlfriend, and he's filming scenes of her having sex with dudes and getting raped, and
it's a very weird thing to think
about. But so this Kyle MacLachlan, he follows her to her apartment. He tells Laura Dern hey, if someone's coming, honk the horn. And then, first he pretends to be an insect man so he can spray her house, and he steals her key. He's just so into this whole thing.
He's very invested.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern is still reluctant, but is still I'd rather go with you than let you do this by yourself.
Yeah, that is kind of what it seems like. Is she doesn't like it. It's almost like she doesn't like the actions, but also she's also kind of intrigued by it.
That's the thing. She's like she's like the Johnny Bravo meme. I'm sickened but curious.
Yeah, yeah. So he sneaks into her house. He hides in her closet, and that's sort of I don't know the famous scene, but it's that's the imagery of the film is he's hiding in a closet and he's watching something.
Cool things.
Yeah, and that's when we meet Frank. Was that his name? Dennis Hopper.
Oh yes, yeah.
Frank.
I think his name is Frank.
He's got a catchphrase, which is just yelling "fuck."
He says quite a bit in this movie, and
Yeah.
I found most of it hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't know he said,
I'll fuck anything that moves.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's the origin for that, because I know that from the Jay and Silent Bob.
I'll fuck anything that moves.
Series.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then, it just says, fuck. There's other shit later on in the movie that I'll bring up.
He's he's sort of gone down to be one of the famous villains in cinema history because of just I don't know that he was the first weird villain, but it's he sort of set a template of he has this weird gas mask he wears. He screams obscenities. He doesn't seem like he really has any semblance of any. He just kind of has his own ambition. Is I'm just gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah, he just kind of exists.
Yeah.
And it's there's not everything's up there, and it's
right.
That's what makes it scary.
Yeah. So he's running around. He's fucking. He's I'll fuck anything, and he's taken it upon himself to take over this Isabella Rossellini, and he calls her mommy, and he does a weird sexual thing, but then he also has her call him daddy. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird, parental thing.
Yeah, it's David Lynch is very kinky, I've noticed.
Yeah.
He's shameless about it, which is honestly admirable.
Yeah.
No shame. We don't kink shame in 2023.
No, never. I saw a clip of him recently where he was talking to a background actress, and he's you're like a
and you're like a doll. You're just like a doll. You're kind of just like a doll in a dream. Okay. Fantastic. Cool, Joey.
It's just.
Was this a director's note, or was he just hyping her up?
Maybe a bit of both. Yeah. I watched, the GQ about my career. What are those?
They break down their career, most iconic characters.
Yeah.
What they keep, top 10 things they can't live without. I watch all that shit.
Yeah, they did one with Kyle MacLachlan, and I watched his segment on this one, and he said he just had such a blast filming this film, And he was just like, we all had such a good time together. Dennis Hopper was such a nice guy. And I was like, that's funny. That
I mean, it's nice to know.
It's nice to know that, you know.
Because Dennis Hopper does play a lot of, like, bad people.
Yeah.
Like King Koopa, bad dude.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's it. That's
I think you had told me that previously.
I think so, yeah. That's the role I associate Dennis Hopper with, like, for forever. Because that was the first thing I think I ever saw him in.
Yeah, I know I've seen him in other things, but he's the guy who just, I can't.
Last night I was watching, he's in the second Texas Chainsaw movie.
Oh, no way.
It was on HBO, so I was watching it just because I was like, oh, Dennis Hopper, I know him.
Did he scream "fuck it" all in that movie?
No, he's actually like the good guy in it, kind of. He's like an uncle of one of the kids who dies in the first movie, and he's also like a cop. So he's like, I heard there's another chainsaw massacre.
Yeah,
I've come to avenge my niece and/or nephew.
Good for him.
Yeah, we love
Change
him.
his ways.
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, we know if he lives.
We'll see.
Okay, so what else happens? The fucking. Oh, so
he leaves, right? Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper leaves, and then
Frank, pardon me.
Yes, Frank leaves. Jeffrey and Isabella Rosalini, they begin an affair of sorts where he just kind of shows up and they fuck and she.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to articulate that.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because she wanted him to slap her, but he was like hesitant, but then he was also like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, and then.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, he doesn't want to, but then also wants to.
Yeah.
It's like, it's strange. David Lynch has broken my brain.
Yeah, I guess the Jeffrey character, his motivations are very askew in the sense that like it's never explained why he wants to. I mean, I guess it is in a way that he tells the chief like, I want to be a police officer, I want to do what you do, but also it's like it's never explained why he's so interested in this, why he's willing to sneak into this house, go to this nightclub, meet up with all these people, and do all this shady shit. And then he ends up falling for Isabella Rossellini and like fucking her, but also he's dating Laura Dern, and so.
Yeah, just like a man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a slimy little boy who just wants to solve crimes and get his dick sucked.
As most men do.
Yeah.
And after all that, he's going to look for Atlantis.
Yeah.
Just leave us be.
Yeah, he's like Bruce Wayne. He just wants to.
He's just got ambitions.
Yeah. Okay, so he goes there one night, but then Frank shows up.
Yes.
And Frank, they decide they're going to take him on the night of his life.
Yeah, that's where more of the funnier dialogue came in.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, what was he trying? The Bats, Pabs Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's like, Heineken.
Yeah,
fuck that.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabs Blue Ribbon!
Pabs Blue Ribbon. I'm like, you're hyping up PBR.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
He loved it.
I guess.
Yeah, and then he takes them to his weird friend's house, and what's his name is there.
I think this is around the time he's like huffing his mask and he's like looking at Homegirl's chest and is like, what are those? Look at those. Those are mine. What are those? I'm like, you know what those are.
Come on, Dennis. You've seen those before.
Don't act new.
Yeah. You've seen those before in this movie.
Right. Like, what do you...
Yeah.
Just interesting choice of what I assume was improvised dialogue.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out is how much of David Lynch's films are improvised. Because I know Tarantino like doesn't allow it at all. Scorsese is cool with it.
I think I've gathered majority of directors are like, if we do, we'll do like one take of it.
Yeah. Or
just like a little bit like, depending on the scene, obviously. Because there's some scenes where it's like, no. Yeah. But there's other scenes where it's like, this is just kind of a bridge, so
yeah.
Whatever.
Because I feel like David Lynch is a strict enough director that he wouldn't want to improvise, but also
I would believe
his films are also so dreamlike that I could also see him being like, oh no, just do whatever you want, just do whatever you feel like you should do, and so I don't know. I like
the dream comparison because like you have a brain, so you've probably had dreams at some point in your life when you're sleeping, and you'll sometimes in dreams you'll clock something that totally makes sense, and then later on wake up and realize, oh, that was complete gibberish, or like it didn't mean what I thought it meant when I was in my dream.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is an interesting way to look at it.
Okay, so he I don't know.
Night of his life, he's in that like 70s basement.
Yeah.
Fucking.
The
vibe.
guy starts singing that song, which I don't remember what song. There was like a song that they kept on singing, and then they were dancing to it later when they were having the guys beat up Jeffrey. Yeah, they beat up Jeffrey. They sort of leave him for dead. I don't know why they wouldn't have just killed him.
Yeah, that's one of those things in movies where it's like it's too easy, I think.
Yeah, I guess, but
it's like the James Bond thing that Austin Powers made fun of. One inept guard.
Yeah, it could have been they thought he was dead and they left, but yeah, it was just like they would have killed this guy.
They left him in like a construction site or something, didn't they?
Yeah, like a junkyard or some big like industrial area or something. And
so at the very least, he has to walk home.
Yeah, that's a pain. They really inconvenienced Jeffrey this night. Okay, so Jeffrey, we skipped this. Jeffrey was following them to see like what all the happenings are, and there's a guy who he keeps referring to as the Yellow Man, which he's not Asian. He's wearing a yellow blazer.
Turns out it's appropriate.
Yeah. This yellow man, he's wearing a yellow blazer. We find out, big twist, he's one of the police. He's the partner of the police chief or whoever. And Jeffrey's like, oh no. And
Jeffrey realized, I fucked up getting my nose dirty.
Speaking of minorities, we skipped this. The two silly black men who worked at Jeffrey's father's store.
Oh yeah, Were they like older?
They're like older black men who were just there to have a good time, and they're just like, "Oh, Jeffrey, it's so good to have you, Sonny."
Yeah, I remember them.
It was just I mean, hey,
slice of life.
Yeah,
those kind of people exist.
Yeah, they were funny. I don't remember anything they said, but I remember enjoying their.
They were one of the like more lighter characters. Like, there's some light, I guess. I already said it.
But, okay, so Jeffrey, after this night, he's like, I'm going to just take it easy. I'm going to go out on a date with this Laura Dern. And they go to, like, prom or something? Or do they just go to a club, I think? They dance with each other, I think.
There's somewhere dancing, but I guess it could be either now that I think about it.
Yeah, she's still in high school.
And he's 20s.
Yeah.
I don't know when they changed the drinking age from 18 to 21.
Yeah. Who wants to be 20 going to prom?
I don't think most people.
Yeah. She has a boyfriend too. She says at some point. Like,
that's right. Yeah, and then
Mike, I think was his name?
we meet him later.
And
then it's like, well, you knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're going.
No
home.
strings in this fucking movie. Everyone's just like,
just
I'm down for whatever,
fucking,
man.
Yeah.
It's almost like modern, really, because everyone's into the poly thing now.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie just ends with an orgy.
I would believe it.
Yeah, David Lynch, he's there too.
I would also believe it.
Yeah. I think he has a cameo in this. I think he plays like a radio voice or something.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
If I would cameo in my own movies.
I would too.
Especially if I got to that level. Just kind of like, why the fuck not? I'm here.
He's not a major character, but he is like a character in Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I forget his name, but I really should know it. Gary Cole or something? No, that's an actor. It is Gordon Cole. Gordon Cole is
Gordon Cole.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love this cherry pie. And
would you like some pie?
Massive quantities and a glass of water, sweetheart. My socks are on fire.
He loves it, and he's deaf. I think that was his. But anyways, this fucking movie. Fucking Jeffrey comes home. And Laura Dern's boyfriend is there to rough him up.
Yeah, he's there to fuck him up. Rightfully so.
Yeah. He's still his girl.
Right. She's not innocent either, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. But then they see who they think to be Jeffrey's mom standing outside of his house naked and bloody.
That line cracked me up. Is that your mom?
Yeah.
It was like, why the fuck?
Yeah. she's just not hanging out. She's kind of going through it.
So she's hanging out.
Yeah, she's hanging out. She's hanging it all out. Yeah, and everyone just sort of drops the fight because they're like, "Oh shit,
there's something big."
Yeah, there's something going on here. I don't want to get involved in this.
This looks like a mental disturbance. Yeah. I'll leave quietly.
Yeah, so they kind of part ways. Jeffrey takes her to the police chief's house, and she starts making out with Jeffrey on the way there, and that's what sort of tips off to Laura Dern, like, that something's going on here. Which I will say, like, there's like 20 minutes left of the movie at this point.
I was gonna say, we're near the end.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're creating like this relationship conflict like right before the end of the movie.
And right in front of the other relationship.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's messy.
Yeah.
He's a messy boy. But everyone's cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, by the end, everyone's just cool with it. I guess we should explain what's going on with Isabella.
I was gonna say, have we mentioned that her coochie is magic?
We didn't mention that, but that seems to be the case.
I was gonna say there are times of just seemingly pure euphoria, and then we cut to the next morning, and it's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah. She, her husband. I don't think he's killed yet, but he's taken by.
Yeah, he's held hostage or something.
Yes, or maybe it was her. Her husband's ear was removed.
Yes.
I think it's kept unclear whether or not he's dead, or maybe he's dead in the apartment later. We really should.
We should have watched it.
I think So her son is taken. Her husband is either dead or also being held because he owes Frank money. Frank is like a drug lord in the city.
Do we see the husband die? Maybe.
I think
is he alive at first and then they kill him? Somebody towards the end does die. Yeah. Man.
I don't remember. Joseph, put
I think we have a
text
clip
here that says whatever. Yeah. Fuck. What happens after that? Jeffrey goes to her house, and he has a police radio walkie-talkie, and he tells them like, "Hey, I'm at her house," and then that tricks Frank into being like, "Oh, he's at the house. I'm gonna go kill him." But again, hiding in the closet, pulling a what's his name, R. Kelly.
Yeah, it's true.
He's hiding in the closet with a gun, and just a great headshot. There was a smooth fucking,
very smooth
70s or 80s, whatever. I like a good headshot.
Yeah, we love precision.
Yeah,
like you can't come back from that.
Yeah,
no need for a double tap.
Yeah, you can see like his insides like sprawled out.
If I recall correctly, the special effects were pretty 80s.
Yeah. Who do you think had a better headshot, him or Willem Dafoe in Wild at Heart?
Oh, I actually don't remember Willem Dafoe's headshot at the moment. So.
I believe it was a shotgun, and you just saw like just his whole head explode.
That's right. I'll give it to that because shotguns.
I do like that better.
You really don't come back from that.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jeffrey fucking shoots him. The police chief comes. And everything, and Laura Dern forgives him. Isabella Rosalini is reunited with her son, and Jeffrey wakes up and he's in his backyard. Everybody's okay. Everybody's in love.
And everything's all better, I guess.
Yeah, everything's just
best case scenario, all things considered. I guess.
I would have liked to follow up just to see what everyone's been up to.
I was gonna say there's got to be a lot of trauma to unpack.
Yeah, everyone's just like, remember that time that Jeffrey killed that rapist, that sex trafficker, drug dealer rapist?
Remember when I was trying to fight that dude's mom and his... fight that dude's mom. Remember when I was trying to fight that dude and his mom came out all naked? That was weird.
But yeah, it's this was definitely a David Lynch film.
For sure. Can't confirm.
I think we said last week that Mulholland Drive is probably his most commercial, but this, I don't know that this is his most well-known, but this one is definitely, sort of the quintessential David Lynch
film. It comes up, a lot of film people do mention it when it comes to David Lynch. It's usually, I want to say it's usually like top 3.
Yeah.
David Lynch films, not like all time for them. Because, film people usually their top 3 are like movies I've never heard of.
Yeah. It's I don't know that it was my favorite. I know it's a lot of people's favorite. I know it's a lot of people's just like favorite movie, like just in general. It was like a sort of noir, like fucking thriller. It's sort of.
It's true.
It's a lot of people like Zodiac or Seven or something like that. Like a lot of people.
I haven't seen Seven. I love Zodiac though. Oh my god, great fucking movie.
Yeah, I think it's definitely better than. Oh, those are both David Fincher films. David Fincher. I used to always get them confused. Would you believe it?
I barely keep track of directors. The directors I can't keep track of are like the really, really stick out ones, like Tarantino's and all that.
Yeah. David Fincher's great though. I don't think he gets enough love. Yeah, fucking Seven, Zodiac, The Social Network.
Let's say he did some recent ones.
Yeah. He did. He started Alien 3, I think. But he started doing like special effects on Return of the Jedi. He worked for what's the company? Imagine Light or something.
IMD or something like
that.
Yeah,
something like that.
ILM.
Yeah, something like that. He worked for them and he did special effects for Return of the Jedi, which David Lynch was supposed to direct. So
right,
that's a fun
that's
connection.
still very interesting to think about.
Yeah, I imagine it would be Dune-esque, but I don't really want to see. I don't really care.
I don't think I would want to see. I would love to see like concept art though.
Yeah.
Or like a plot synopsis.
Yeah.
That he had in mind, because it'd be one thing if he was like they're giving people their own trilogies and shit. It would be really interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting to see David Lynch take on something that's already like
established.
2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now you have to work with this. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, he tells a story about after Eraserhead came out, his like producer, partner, or whoever came to him and was like, I have 2 movies that they want you to direct. One of them is called The Elephant Man. And the other one, and he's like, and I interrupted him, and I to this day I don't know what that movie is, because as soon as I heard The Elephant Man, I was like, I'm gonna make that movie.
Did he make The Elephant Man?
He did make The Elephant Man.
Oh, I'll have to see that. I like Elephant Man.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna talk about it for this series, but
it's not that serious.
Yeah, I do want to see it though, because Anthony Hopkins and the guy from Snowpiercer, I don't remember his name, but he's a famous old man actor. John Glover or something like that. John something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was his second film, and then he when working on Dune, he had this production partner, Lorenzo De Laurentiis, and he had his own production. He was like an Italian production company or whatever.
Spaghetti Western.
Spaghetti space Western.
Oh.
And David couldn't get funding for this film because just nobody wants to make a movie about drug dealer rapists, and this Lorenzo guy, he told him like, I'll produce it for you, and so that was sort of their partnership until he went solvent, or I don't know, the company's not around anymore, but
okay.
But the movie is, because of the Criterion Collection, and it's a classic. Brad, do you have any final thoughts on this film?
David Lynch, this is the first thing I watched. He had me in the first, not the first half, probably the first quarter, because we watched like 4 or 5 of these.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. But since then I've grown to appreciate his other films more. So nice. If you're starting with Blue Velvet in the David Lynch verse, I would advise to maybe try something a little lighter.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I can still, I get the hype.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think we'll see you next time. Big peace.